Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the weekend. It's 4 o'clock here on the Eastern Coast, so we'll give you a little bit longer until it's actually your weekend. But we'll give everyone a few minutes to actually get in here. Right now, we are going to start off by just going through what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Spike Lee ruining the Cannes Film Festival, the new Dune trailer, which is pretty much going to save movies, the Green Knight being pulled from the UK, Old is now coming out, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. We're going to talk about the review that came out today on the 5 Minute Critic channel, which you should subscribe to. And then we're going to talk about the top Philip Seymour Hoffman performances, because sadly, if he was still with us, he would have turned 54 today. So, okay, let's start from the top. Spike Lee, if you watched the opening of the awards ceremony in Cannes last weekend, he was asked, and he was the president of the jury, he was asked to, in French, he was asked, go ahead and stand up and give us the first award. Apparently, his translation thought that he was being asked to stand up and give the first prize. So he stands up and announces that the Palme d'Or, the Best Picture equivalent award, goes to Julie Ducournau for her movie Titane. Everyone goes, ooh, in French in the audience, and is then very disappointed that he went ahead and gave away everything, gave away the top prize. Now, Titane looks like a very interesting movie, looks like a new version of Crash, the David Cronenberg movie. The trailer looks incredible. Great to hear that she won that award. Would have been a lot better, I feel like, for her and the whole crew if they kind of went in order. But hey, with the Oscars, nothing goes in order anymore. We give out the top awards at the beginning of the show. Then the new Dune trailer came out yesterday. I love Dune. In quarantine, I went ahead and read the first novel, incredible novel, watched the David Lynch movie. I love David Lynch. That is a piece of shit of a movie. But this trailer by Denis Villeneuve looks absolutely incredible. Feels like it's got the suspense and also the world building that the book has. And it brings it into a huge world. It's coming out on October 22nd. And I think this is going to be the movie that we have our eyes on to see, is it actually going to cross over into making the big bucks? I mean, we've had a lot of movies this year. We've had F9, we've had Cruella, we've had A Quiet Place, who've done really well. They've gone close to, and some have even passed the $500 million mark. Nothing has made $1 billion in a year and a half now. The hope, I think, is that after pushing Dune back almost an entire year, hopefully this movie is going to draw an audience and draw a crowd and be able to go past that $1 billion mark, especially with the price tag of the movie. It's going to need to. But October 22nd, mark your calendars from that, because on that day is also the new Wes Anderson movie, French Dispatch, and the new Edgar Wright movie, Last Night in Soho. So big movie for audiences all over the place, and big weekend for Timothée Chalamet. 2 movies on that weekend. Sadly, though, The Green Knight, the new movie by David Lowery, who made things like Pete's Dragon, which I haven't seen but have been told is total crap. A Ghost Story, which I know is not total crap. What was the other one? I forget the name of the one. The two lovers. Ain't Them Body Saints. Great movie. Look up the trailer to The Green Knight. That's going to be the next A24 movie that comes out. Looks really, really scary. Also really suspenseful, but it has that feeling of The Witch. It has that feeling of The Lighthouse. Kind of like the sets look very, very realistic, and the intensity feels like an old world type of mythology. Like the Green Knight really feels like something out of Pan's Labyrinth, like an old ancient creature that's wreaking havoc on the land. And so that's a very exciting movie that's coming out for us here in America. It's coming out on July 30th. That's next Friday. Oh, geez. Okay. So next Friday is The Green Knight. So check that out. But it got pulled in the UK. Apparently, COVID just lives there forever, and it's never going to let those people out of their homes. But we get to see it, and maybe they will too one day on streaming. But this weekend, today, Old is out, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. And online, I was surprised to see the amount of people who were said, and I don't know if you followed M. Night Shyamalan's career. I've been following M. Night Shyamalan since like Signs, whenever that was like 2002 or something like that. Really, really interesting filmmaker, incredible director, even in his worst movies. And he's had some of the worst movies of this century. Even in his worst movies, he's great with the camera. He always knows how to film something in a way that keeps the drama going, even if there's no dialogue at all. So M. Night Shyamalan is a great director, but he's made some of the worst movies ever. And a lot of people online throughout this last week, because Old is out today, they've been saying, oh, he's made some stinkers, but he's always ambitious. He's always an exciting filmmaker, always a good voice to have. We should never be upset about the movies that he's made that aren't very good. I think this is a bullshit take. I think that if you really like M. Night Shyamalan, you have to admit that there was a 7-year period where you thought that the coolest filmmaker to come out of the 90s was actually total crap. Like, can you imagine 2006, you get Lady in the Water. After that, you go to The Happening. Then you get The Last Airbender. The Last Airbender is phenomenally terrible. It crosses over the Rubicon to go from, oh, I didn't like it that much, to everyone admitting, okay, that was terrible. It's in the land of there's no more subjectivity. This is a terrible movie. Then after that, he did After Earth, a movie that even Will Smith now totally disowns. That movie, again, you can't go back to back with two just The Room level movies and then be considered someone who's like, oh, well, it was just, it was a rough time. It was a rough time. No, look, I think if you're a real M. Night Shyamalan fan, you admit that he has in him the ability to be the worst filmmaker working today, and he has lived that character out for almost an entire decade. And some of the exciting stuff is to see him do things like The Visit, or work on Servant, or make Split, and then Glass. But Glass is kind of, but still be able to have a bit of a comeback. And now he's out with Old. Reviews are coming out. It seems kind of like it's a little polarized, but it's tough to tell with Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, because if something is divisive, that can be a lot of fun too. So I'm excited to see Old. I don't know if that's going to be the review for next week. We will see. As you can tell, I've got the crappy camera and probably the crappy sound. I don't have my equipment because I'm at the beach this weekend. So we'll see if I get to see Old, but hopefully that'll be coming as a review pretty soon. And then the review for this week, I won't give everything away. You can watch the review on the channel, but Space Jam 2, the only thing that I'll say about Space Jam 2, and yes, it is a pile of garbage, but one of the more popular critiques people are giving of Space Jam 2 right now is how dare Warner Brothers? How dare you, Warner Brothers? How dare you make a movie and put it on HBO Max and have throughout the entire movie, you have Game of Thrones, you have Game of Thrones, you have The Matrix, you have Clockwork Orange, you have It, you have all of these properties that show up throughout the entire movie. This is pretty much a commercial for your company. You corporatist, capitalist, shill, that all this stuff. Like, go on Twitter right now, look up Space Jam. It'll be people complaining about Warner Brothers. There's plenty of reasons to absolutely hate Space Jam. And if you don't absolutely hate Space Jam, then there is something very wrong with you. But I think it is totally unfair to call out Warner Brothers for making this a commercial for themselves. Who cares? Who cares? The problem with Space Jam 2 is that the story is total shit. Like, Space Jam 1 is not great. And watch those back to back, which I did in order to do the review. Watch Space Jam 2. Space Jam 1 seems like one of the early M. Night Shyamalan movies. It's like, oh, wow, the way that the motivations and the characters flow together, the intentions work. Space Jam 1 is shit, but watch it after Space Jam 2. It seems absolutely incredible. But the point, if you tell a good story, who cares if you are marketing your own whatever? I love the Lego movie. Lego Movie 1, Lego Movie 2. The Batman Lego movie is one of the better iterations of Batman. And don't tell me that that movie is not there to sell Legos. Everyone was buying Legos when those movies came out. Who cares? If it's a good story, I don't care if you want to sell thousands and thousands of your products. So who cares? And it looks like Warner Brothers is probably going to make a Space Jam 3. I would love if Space Jam 3 is really good, and I don't care if they decide that they want to plug even more of all of the properties that they have on HBO Max. But if you do it well, I mean, that's what's important. I mean, just that there's plenty of reasons to not like Space Jam 2. I think shitting on Warner Brothers because they are self-referential is not one of them. And then lastly, today, Philip Seymour Hoffman would have turned 54. He passed away, I believe it was 7 years ago now. That was one of the sadder days that I can remember in terms of getting entertainment news. Phenomenal actor. One of those actors that he did comedy, he did drama, he did horror. He played a whole range of characters, and he always made it seem like it was easy to go from wide ranges. He was a producer, writer, director, directed plays, was on Broadway numerous times. Always, whenever he would speak about the characters he was playing, was talking in a way that was very human and always made everything that he did seem very effortless and he did things in a very wide range. So I would say if for me, if I were to watch, the top 3 Hoffman performances for me, and if you're watching this, put yours in the chat or comment on the video. But I think that Doubt, Capote, and The Master are pretty much his best movies. So it's still sad. It's been, I think, 7 years since he passed, but awesome actor. And on his birthday today, I feel like it's, right that we remember that. Yeah. Well, we'll end on a sad note, and thank everyone for watching. And please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.